is why you should never friend people you don't know on Roblox. I met this guy on Roblox, and his name was Jimmy X Bear. He asked if we could be friends on Roblox, and I said sure. I wasn't sus of him until a week later when he'd asked me to join his game. And I said sure. So I joined his game. He started then telling me that I was going to get hacked and that I should stay off Roblox. I was completely confused. I didn't know what to say, so I just left the game. After a week or so, I went back on because of how scared I was, and I was logged out of my account. And now I didn't know what to do. So I went to go log into my account. After 20 or so tries, I finally got back in. I looked to go in my Roblox chats and saw Jimmy X Bear. You won't believe what he said next. Come back for part 2. Part 2 of what Jimmy X Bear said next. I went to go look in my Roblox chats and I got a chat from Jimmy X Bear. He said, your account is now mine. I was speechless. Right away, I unfriended him and contacted my parents and my friends. None of my friends would believe me, so I said to go on ALT accounts and join his group. I pretended we were a Roblox group of friends and we wanted to be his friend. So for days of playing with him and acting like we liked him, my friend's main account got hacked. Now at this point, I didn't know what to say. I thought it was kind of my fault, so I knew I had to do something. I did next friended him again, and I chatted him back and asked, what are you trying to do to me? Stay tuned for part 3. So part 3 on Jimmy X Bear. He decided to tell me the truth of what he was trying to do. He told me that he was trying to get my family, especially my number. He wanted to come to my house. After he said that, I immediately unfriended him and never played Roblox again. At least for like 2 weeks, because I was terrified. I told my parents the story, and they told me I was not allowed in Roblox. At least for a month or 2. I did get random texts and random calls from this number. All I did was block. And yeah, that's basically it.
Cool, I know I'm not supposed to mention this to anyone or reveal my identity, but since this is anonymous, here goes nothing. Back in 7th grade there was this kid named Emery. He had autism and everyone bullied him. He was new and I was his only friend. On Valentine's Day I bought him flowers and chocolates but didn't tell him it was from me. I watched his face light up when he picked up his roses from the basket in front of the whole class. Even the teacher was like, what the fuck? He was so excited he decided to go around asking girls if it was them. I tried to tell him it was me but I didn't want to embarrass him. He ended up getting rejected by like 20 girls and skipping class to cry in the bathrooms. I skipped lunch to sit in the library and talk with him. He told me he wanted revenge and I thought he was just going to TP her house or egg her parents' car. But no. The following week in TX history class we went into lockdown. I asked the teacher if it was a drill and she said no. So I went under my desk. Everyone tried to call their parents but there was no Wi-Fi. This is kinda long so might need a part 2.
Then the principal started speaking on the intercom, telling everyone to hide because there was a shooter. Then my teacher told us to sit against the wall. The teacher turned off the lights and told us to not make a sound. Then we started hearing gunshots. After like 15 minutes we stopped hearing the shots. So when me and my class calmed down we asked the teacher for some water. The teacher got cups of water for everyone out of the water dispensary. So we were all drinking, then we heard a loud banging on the door in the hallway. All the girls that rejected Emery the day before were crying saying that Emery is gonna kill them. We started hearing the door unlocking, then all the girls shut the frick up. So the door opened, and it was the principal. He told us he was trying to escape from the shooter, so he was sitting in the room with us. Then my stomach started hurting and some other kid started shitting his pants. Then the principal pulled out a gun. And started shooting the kid that was shitting his pants. He said, "Die, you disgusting piece of shit." Then everyone started running out the room. So I tried to run, but then the principal knocked me and 2 other kids out, so I woke up like an hour later and the principal had us tied up and the other 2 kids were still knocked out. So I told him to let us go, but he said that he was gonna keep us as hostages. He started drinking a bunch of water, then splashed the 2 other kids, which made them wake up and they started crying. He told them to shit the fuck up, then tied us all together with a extension cord. He walked us out to the front of the building while holding on to the extension cord so we couldn't run. He was behind us and had the gun faced at all of us. Then when we got outside, all the parents and police were out there, and they were telling him to let us go.
Story time on how my password got leaked onto Roblox. This one day I was on Roblox. I was maybe around the age 7, 8. I was in those really catchy games called like Escape McDonald's or Escape whoever, you know? I was in all those like games. I'd always join a server with 3 noobs. Not noobs as in bacon hair. Noobs as in yellow, green, blue skin. I didn't think much about it until this one day. I was in one of those catchy games. As I was in it, I made it to this one part of the stage where I saw 3 of the noobs like huddled together, in a circle. I was kind of confused, like what's happening, so I was just walking around and like investigating or something. I saw them chatting things. I was like really, really nervous. You will not believe what they chatted. Like for part 2. And thank you so much for the support. Part 2 on how my password got leaked onto Roblox. As I was investigating the noobs, I noticed they were typing something that I didn't feel comfortable about. They kept on typing my password. Not as in typing like they say it once and then they move on. They typed it like 5 or 6, maybe even more times. As they were typing it, people in the chat were going question mark, question mark. They were on a different level, so I couldn't really see them saying it, but I saw it in the chat. So I kind of felt uncomfortable. I just thought maybe they were talking about something else. It doesn't have to be my password. So I just kept on finishing the obby. Then I made it to this other point, maybe like 5 stages later. I saw the 3 exact same noobs, and they were just sitting by each other like a line. I was wondering, do they have admin to this game or something? But now that I think of it, they were hackers, so of course they did. As they were sitting down, they were leaking my password again. But as they were leaking my password, it came with a little... Part 3 of how my password got leaked onto Roblox. The surprise was, they were leaking my password with my email. And I used the same password for literally everything. My email, my Roblox account, everything, my phone, everything. So as they were leaking my email, I went to check was it really my email, and it really was. And if you log into my email account, on the side it has like my credit card with all my credit card info. And I didn't know how to turn it off. I was really, really scared. I was like, oh my god. So they just kept on spamming that, and then they stopped spamming. And they said, ha ha ha, we got you. I was like, ha ha ha, we got who? And what did you get? They said, we know you're scared and we know you're a little kid. At the time, I was younger. And then I noticed they were talking about me. I got really, really nervous. Like for part...
One day when I was 13, I snuck in my mom's room while she was in the shower and I hid under her bed. I closed my bedroom door so she would think I'm in my room. I was giggling at the thought of her getting scared. I heard my dad open the front door downstairs, meaning he's back from work. My mom finished up showering and I heard her get out and welcome my dad. They both slowly and quietly came into the bedroom and I saw their clothes drop on the floor. I put my hand over my mouth and they got on the bed and started doing the deed. The bed was bouncing so much I swear the mattress was bonking my head every few seconds. The room started smelling like sweaty cheese and I was trying not to vomit. I was crying so much with my hand still over my mouth, and then they finished. I heard my mom say, "Great, now I have to shower again." And my dad said me too. They then both went into the shower together and I quickly ran back to my room and got into bed and started crying. I now have a baby sister as well.
When I was in year 7, me and my friend were in the toilets together on our phones, but then older years came in and we didn't want to walk out together because it would look like we were. Anyway, I then desperately needed, but there was no time for her to get out, so I said turn around and close your eyes, and I took a huge dump, but when it was coming out so loudly, and then my friend was laughing so hard and it made me giggle, but when I laughed I farted consistently, and all the older years heard, and my friend was just crying with laughter whilst I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. So anyway, the older years started crowding round my cubicle and I was scared. Long story short, we were a bit late to lesson because they wouldn't leave until they knew who was in there.
Story time of how I found out that my mom was actually my older sister. My older sister never really liked me as a child. We were never close. I never knew why, but I was guessing it was because of the 10-year age gap. But I'm pretty sure she hated me because she couldn't even look me in the eye. I cannot make this up. She would not look me in the eye. But she never really talked to my parents either. She kind of just kept to herself all the time. Sometimes I have vivid memories of when we were younger and she would always be arguing with my parents about something, and I always thought it had something to do with me. Well, I was right. It had everything to do with me because eventually my sister turned 18 and she moved out. For 2 years, I didn't talk to her at all. I honestly don't even think I had her number saved, and I'm pretty sure that she didn't have mine. Well, 2 years later, and I was 10 at the time, she reached out to me via social media. I'm not sure how she found my Instagram name, but it was just my name, so she probably just typed that in and found me. She DM'd me and told me that she wanted to talk about something very important and that she would like to talk over the phone. So we exchanged numbers and we called that same night. And she told me that when she was younger, my dad had taken advantage of her and gotten her pregnant and had me. What's one really bad thing you did as a child that you kept secret for your entire life and didn't tell nobody? I'll go first. I got a lot of stories like this, but this is just one of them. So my mama used to put me in daycare, and in my daycare we used to do field trips, and we went to the YMCA. So while we were in the pool, this one white kid comes up to me. He asked me, like, why are you black? And I was kind of embarrassed, but I wasn't mad at the kid. I was more embarrassed than I was mad. And I told him that my parents painted me every single day. And I was thinking back at the time when I scraped my knee and the skin came off and there was like no blood. It was just bone. But I didn't know that it was bone. I thought that I was just white underneath. So I was like, it's true, like I can peel my skin off and prove it. When I did that, I peeled skin off my finger and it was a lot of skin and I started bleeding really bad. So the water started getting red and the daycare people tried to get everybody out the water like there was something going on. And then once everybody was out of the water, one of the daycare people go, I'm so sorry everybody. I lost my tampon. I need to find it. Okay, so what happened was pretty self-explanatory, but I can make a part 2 if you guys want. So this is part 2 of the really bad thing that I did as a child and kept secret. So my daycare instructor, or whatever you call them, basically said that she had lost her tampon in the water. And I'm guessing she said that because she was on her period and she had a tampon in and the water started turning red, and that's the only reason that she could think of. But like they started checking all the kids and making sure that all the kids were okay and stuff. And when they came up to me and asked me if I was good, I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And so they were looking in the water for like an hour, but there was no tampon. Like they could not find the tampon. Like that one white kid, he was not part of the daycare. Like he wasn't one of the daycare kids. So they evacuated everybody out the pool. Like nobody was allowed in there. And like we all got back on the bus and we went back to the daycare, and the daycare instructor, who thought she had lost her tampon, literally talked to all of us and was like, things like this can happen as a woman and da-da, when you get older you'll understand. But baby, I stayed mute. Ain't nobody know. One person knows, but hopefully she don't see this on her For You page. Sorry about it.
Story time about how I got my ex-boyfriend back for cheating on me. So a lot of background information. My ex and I were together for almost 2 years, and throughout our whole entire relationship, he had been cheating on me. I'm not surprised though. But what I am surprised about is that he was cheating on me with my best friend. Well, my ex-best friend now. Before my ex and I got together, my best friend had a crush on him for like a week, right? And then she got a boyfriend. And I had asked her, is it okay if I get with him? Like, him and I have been talking, he said that he really likes me. And she said, yeah, of course, that's perfectly fine. I don't care, I don't like him anymore. So I was like, okay, we're all good to go. So a month later, him and I start dating. Well, I found out that he was cheating on me when I went through his phone and saw all these nude pictures of my best friends and videos of them doing the nasty. So I decided I had to get him back. And my best friend, of course. My best friend was still with her boyfriend. But her boyfriend was my ex-boyfriend's best friend. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how I got my ex-boyfriend back for cheating on me. So I'm just gonna throw this in here real quick. I'm pretty sure the only reason why my best friend did all that stuff with my ex was because she was pissed off at me for actually dating him. Because from what I had heard through other people who knew that she was doing that with my boyfriend, they said that she didn't talk to him or anything anymore. And that she really actually loved her boyfriend that she was with. Little TMI. Throughout my boyfriend and I's whole relationship, he would beg me to be open-minded while being intimate. And he would want to do things that I really just did not want to do. And there was a long list of things that he wanted me to do. So a week later, I told her boyfriend, but I told her boyfriend not to tell her because of my plan. And that whole week, my boyfriend was apologizing to me, saying he was so sorry and that he wants me back, blah, 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 blah. And my best friend thought that her boyfriend was loyal as fuck. Not anymore. So I told him about my plan, which was to do everything that my boyfriend begged me to do during our whole relationship with him. And for him, it would just be enough to send it to her because she thought he was loyal. Like for part 3. Part 3 about how I got my ex-boyfriend back for cheating on me. So like I said, I told her boyfriend my plan and everything like that, and he was on board right away. So he came over to my house, we did all that good shit, Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys. My ex-best friend had begged me not to tell her boyfriend. She was like, you don't get it, like I really love him, like I really don't want to lose him. And I told her that I wouldn't tell him. But I don't really know what her boyfriend did. All I know is that I sent the video to my boyfriend. Oh, and also my boyfriend begged me not to tell her boyfriend because they were best friends. But I did it anyways, and like I said, I sent it to him, and I sent him a long paragraph. And then he sent me, oh, how could you do this to me, blah, blah, blah. You just ruined everything for me. Things will never be the same between us. And I was like, yeah, okay, good. I don't care. You were a piece of garbage anyways. But however, my ex-best friend, she took her boyfriend back, and now their relationship is toxic as fuck, and he cheats on her all the time. And they've been together now for like 3 years. Karma is a bitch.
Storytime about how I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me with my sister. Girlfriend and I have been together for 8 months, and when COVID hit, we decided to just quarantine together, and basically we moved in together. Oh, and yes, I am a girl. Got to know each other really well, and we really enjoyed the relationship. Well, my sister lost her job because of COVID, and she asked me if she could move in with my girlfriend and I. Of course, I said yes. She's my sister, and I totally have her back. So my sister moved into our guest bedroom. My sister also had a boyfriend. Let's call him Jason. Jason was so in love with my sister, he wanted to propose and even asked me to look at rings. Well, Jason proposed, and my sister said no. Everyone was shocked. My sister didn't give a reason why she didn't want to marry him, but she was really depressed. So my girlfriend would talk to her and just try to be her friend and comfort her. And I was happy that my girlfriend was trying to help out my sister. Jason kept trying to get my sister back, but she kept saying no. Well, one day I wake up from a nap and I hear weird noises coming from my sister's bedroom. I swing the door open and guess what I see? My sister and my girlfriend naked on her bed making out. The audacity. Part 2 is up. I walk in on my girlfriend and my sister doing the dirty. They both jump off the bed and start getting dressed really quickly. I left the room and sat on the couch. I couldn't even speak. My sister comes out of the room and asked me to understand. She explained to me that my sister was so kind to her after her breakup that she couldn't help but falling in love. I couldn't believe she said love. I just started to cry. Then my girlfriend comes out of the room fully dressed, and she swore that this was the first time they had ever even kissed. I didn't believe it for 1 second. My girlfriend was surprisingly really calm, and it made me feel even worse. I started to get really angry, realizing that the whole time my sister was living there, they were probably hooking up, and that's the reason why she didn't want to stay with her boyfriend or marry him. So I went into my sister's room, grabbed all her clothes, and started throwing them out of our balcony. I even threw her laptop out the balcony, and we were on the 2nd floor. My sister was just chasing me around the apartment trying to stop me, but I would push her away. And I noticed my girlfriend is on her phone. I took the phone away from her, and guess what she was looking at? Come back for part 3. After I caught my sister and girlfriend doing the dirty, I threw all my sister's things out of my apartment. Then I noticed my girlfriend is on her phone, so I take it away, and guess what she was looking at? She was deleting her Tinder and Bumble app, which means she was looking for people to date. Mind you, her and I had been in a committed relationship for the past 8 months. My girlfriend had no emotion. She didn't apologize, didn't say anything, but my sister was super emotional, apologizing. Then my girlfriend pipes up and says, you know, this is all your fault. I said, why? She said that I pressured her into moving in with me and that everything happened too quickly, which is not true. We both decided to move in together, and my girlfriend suggested the area we should actually live in. Then she turns to my sister and tells her that she's immature and that neither of us are worth being with. I told her to get her things and leave. She said, you're breaking up with me? I was like, of course I am. And she said that I would never find anyone as good as her. I forgave my sister because she's blood, and we're still living together. My sister has a boyfriend, and I'm trying to date people, but my ex still calls me even though she said I wasn't worth being with.